Hello world, bringing woody wonders to you today as I plonk myself on this tree. And I thought in today's little video I'd talk about the moon and our moods, because the moon very much impacts our emotions, and our emotions are very fleeting, just as the moon is, because the moon only stays in a sign for about 2.5 days, and it's the fastest moving out of all the planets. So what we notice often is that when the moon is full, we can sometimes feel a little more emotional, a little bit like something's culminating, that we maybe want to make a change, or perhaps we're wrapping up a project. It can heighten our emotions because the moon is full. When we have a new moon, we're often thinking about new seeds that we want to plant, new ideas. We usually feel a bit more energized to start something, or a little bit more motivated. And when the moon is transiting through different signs, that also impacts how we feel. So for instance, yesterday the moon was in Pisces, and I really sort of noticed that I didn't really feel like doing much. And I was like, I don't really feel like pushing forward. And I thought, I wonder where the moon is. And the moon was in Pisces. And Pisces very much rules our spirituality, a need to escape. It's very dreamy, very imaginative, very creative, very esoteric. Pisces rules our dreams. And usually we can find ourselves wanting to take a more sort of slower paced energy when the moon is in a water sign. We can be more reflective, more introspective. We can maybe find that we get triggered, or find ourselves going over sort of past memories, or thinking about things and perhaps being a bit more emotional about them. When the moon is in a fire sign or an air sign, there's usually a feeling of momentum, of wanting to push forward, wanting to take action, wanting to get stuff done. When the moon's in Virgo, for instance, we're often very motivated to tick things off our to-do list, to sort through cupboards, to have a bit of a clear out, to get our ducks in a row and get things organised and start planning. So the moon cycles has a big impact on the kind of conversations we might have that day, the kind of feelings that we're having. And because it rules our emotions, and our emotional state is something that ebbs and flows just as the tide does with the moon, depending on what the moon's doing, it's a reminder that everything is a cycle. Everything we feel is temporary, and emotions are really only meant to stay we're only meant to feel emotions for sort of like a short period of time, but we can get very stuck in our emotions, in our ruminations, in our reflections. We can get stuck on our feelings, and we're almost programmed to think that we have to, or programmed to sort of stay stuck in those states. But actually, when we think about the moon, we think about our emotions. Really, an emotion is only meant to stay in us for about 45 seconds. We're only really meant to be feeling an emotion for that amount of time, but we stay in it. And that can obviously be sabotaging, and it can feel very heavy, and it can feel a little bit restrictive. But if we remind ourselves that our emotions are temporary, constantly ebbing and flowing and up and down, that really we're never really meant to be feeling the same states continuously. We can be gentle, and we can be compassionate with ourselves, we can be yin, we can be just like the moon is, and really tune into that kindness and compassion that the moon holds. And then the sun is obviously the yang energy. It's the ego, it's the action, it's the fire. It gets things moving. So we're always fluctuating in and out of those states. And I'm currently working on a very exciting project that really delves into this more deeply, and I'm really looking forward to sharing that. So yeah, those are my reflections for today, and my woody wonders, and I'll look forward to seeing you for the next one.